Jesse McCree wasn't always the vigilante cowboy that the media loves to hate. In the Overwatch era, McCree had made a name for himself as a member of the notorious Deadlock Gang, which trafficked illicit weapons and military hardware throughout the American Southwest. Now, Overwatch couldn't let that go, so McCree and his associates were busted in a sting operation led by Gabriel Reyes and Blackwatch, Overwatch's covert ops division. Now, with his expert marksmanship and resourcefulness, he was given a choice between rotting in a maximum security lockup for the rest of his natural life or joining Blackwatch. McCree wisely chose Blackwatch. McCree was initially cynical of Overwatch and their whole idea, but he came to believe he could make amends for his past sins by righting the injustices of the world. He was given instruction by Reyes himself, which only made him more lethal. It makes you wonder if Reyes ever asked McCree if he wanted in on the growing rebellion. What I do know is McCree didn't want any part of the infighting, so he set off alone and went underground during the time of Reyes' rebellion. Now, this would have been a great time for McCree to go back into his criminal ways, but he resurfaced several years later as a gunslinger for hire. And while McCree's talents were sought after by parties great and small, he only fought for causes he believed were just. Now, the media might disagree, saying that Jesse McCree has always been a robber and always will be, but recently there was a report about a train robbery, which sounds like McCree was present for. According to the evidence I've gathered, McCree caught a ride on a hyper train headed for Houston. Caught a ride as in he sat on top of the train, since, as he would say if he were here, they don't sell folks like me a ticket. That was my McCree impression. I'm working on it. Anyway, while he was sitting up there, he noticed helicopters approaching and men rappelling off of them and onto the speeding train. Staying out of sight, he recognized the robbers, or at least their method of insertion, were operating in a manner similar to Blackwatch. Helping was risky, since if McCree's face was spotted, he'd take the heat for whatever was about to go down. But McCree made the tough decision and vaulted into a train car to quickly dispatch a number of the operatives. He then told the stunned passengers to stay in their seats and that things would be over shortly. Yeah, that sounds like Jesse. Moving on, McCree saved one of the train staff from being executed as he didn't know a set of codes. Apparently the soldiers were after something all the way in the back of the train, so McCree headed that way. He dispatched the enemy soldiers there, but only after hearing one of their number call for backup. Reaching the device at the back, he tossed it off the train, content that the operatives would go after it and leave the train itself alone, thus saving everybody's lives. His face now out in the open, McCree settled down to enjoy the ride, only to learn via news report that the robbery had indeed been laid on him, and from a steward, learned that the train would arrive in Houston in 3 minutes. McCree asked that the truth of what happened be relayed to the police, and that the arrival time be fudged, in order to give him time to make his exit. McCree's done a good job of making his way back to the good side of the law, even if the media disagrees. But there are some people in Overwatch that the media can't get enough of. People who use their fame to make the world a better place. But that's another story.